Esteemed and honored to have you here amidst us, sir. Thank you, Mr. Prabhu Chavla. Now I request Ms. Shampadar Kamath, our Managing Editor for Events and New Projects, the New Indian Express, to kindly step up on stage and introduce our chief guest for the evening. Over to you, ma'am.
It's actually wrong of me to be standing here to be introducing Gurudev, but I'll say a few words in any case. Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar is a humanitarian leader, a spiritual teacher, and an ambassador of peace. His vision of a stress-free, violence-free society has united millions of people the world over through service projects and, of course, the courses of art of living. He's reached out to an estimated 370 million people in 155 countries. Numerous honors have been bestowed upon Gurudev, including the highest civilian awards of Colombia, Mongolia, and Paraguay. He's also been conferred with the Padma Bhushan just this year. He's a recipient of 15 honorary doctorates from around the world. His vision of a one-world family has united people of diverse backgrounds, nationalities, and religions. He travels to nearly 40 countries every year, so we're very lucky to have him with us, exemplifying his call to globalize wisdom. His universal and simple message is that love and wisdom can prevail over hatred and distress. This year, the Art of Living movement that he founded completes 35 years. On this occasion, the World Culture Festival, a confluence and celebration of cultures from around the world, will be held in New Delhi from 11th to 13th March 2016. So I suggest you start booking your tickets right away. And Gurudev, may we have your... Will you speak from there?
Good evening, everyone. I'm sure you have had a lot of thinking happening in the last 2 days with such eminent speakers. You know, I've been given this opportunity to speak at the last, and it's very easy, very comfortable. I simply have to say, just act on all that what you thought. You know, you cannot just keep thinking until the last minute. Now is the time to just plunge into action. You might have heard about, I'm sure, heard about how the education system is in this country and elsewhere in the world. I just want to bring to you one dimension today, that is to expand the capacity to think broader and capacity to assimilate, understand and digest. This is what is missing. You know, the container need to be expanded. If you have a container which holds only 1 liter, and you cannot go on pouring more than what it can hold. If you want to bring in more, you need to expand the container. And spirituality, for me, is that which expands your container. That can make you see things from a new perspective. Today, in the world, depression has taken a big toll on human psyche. In Germany alone, 40% of school teachers are depressed. Just imagine what they would be transmitting to the younger generation. If the teachers or school teachers are depressed, what would happen? What can they give to the children? You know, when we were kids, I remember we used to have an uncle come to our home every Sunday. And this uncle's job is to just make us laugh. I mean, it was in his nature. He used to tell some stories, very weird things. And those days, you know, we didn't have all these televisions, and all that we have was radio. And this radio will have a limited program or music from all South India. You know, All India Radio had only half an hour to 15 minutes of all South Indian languages. When we come from school, from 5 to 6, you get all these 4 languages, Malayalam, Telugu, Tamil and Kannada songs. Other than that, it was mostly Hindi, and we would not understand anything about what's happening. Some English here and there, news. So the entertainment was missing when all that we had to do was to really interact with people and create our own entertainment. And every group, youth group, were not looking for entertainment, but they were creator of entertainments. We used to create our own dramas, our own music, our own songs, our own groups. So there was more actual interaction, not just virtual interaction as we have landed up today. This virtual interaction is one of the reasons they say that people are closing themselves down and depression is rising in the world as such. See, by 2020 they say the biggest health hazard in the world after cancer will be depression. And we can't afford to feed half of our population with Prozac and other antidepressant. And I tell you, it doesn't work after some time. So the challenge is to expand the container of education. That is our consciousness. Because knowledge is structured in consciousness. Or else we will land up in a situation where people either they commit suicide. Brilliant youths in this country are committing suicide. You can't understand why. I tell you, this is where exercises like pranayama, meditation, they all come to help. Because they can raise the prana level, the energy level, or in Chinese language, chi level. The chi in you is raised. Prana in you is raised. Then you feel normal. If it's raised even more, you feel even better. And if it is in its to full bench of prana, you feel very enthusiastic, creative. All these positive qualities come to us. When the prana goes down, first thing is you feel negative and you doubt everything. Then when it goes further down, either you are suicidal or you commit acts of crime. Now, to save our society from acts of crime, we have to create this high prana with a positive atmosphere. Don't you think so? All youngsters here, don't you like positive atmosphere in your surrounding? Yeah? How many of you have positive atmosphere around you? And how many of you think it is not available in today's circumstances? Can you raise your hand and tell me? Not much positive atmosphere is available. So we need to create this positive atmosphere, and I tell you, we can do it. Few years back, sports and music were one of the sources of positive atmosphere. Today, unfortunately, even sports are played like wars, and wars are played like sports. This is so unfortunate. In the world, people play wars as sports. And if you really go into it, it's shocking. And similarly, match fixing, you have heard about it? Yeah. Corruption has entered every field. And one of the reasons is lack of that proper education. Education creates a sense of belongingness. It should create a sense of belongingness. And sense of belongingness is the only way to combat corruption. See, no one can be corrupt, or no one is corrupt with people whom they think they belong to them. You will never be behaving in a corrupt manner with a person who is very close to you. Corruption begins where sense of belongingness ends. And so, to create that sense of belongingness, the education need to be attuned to human values. Whether religion should be taught in the school or not is a secondary thing, but what is need to be taught is ethics, a sense of human dignity and human belonging. That is very essential. And wherever we do this, we find enormous changes. We see enormous changes. Schools and colleges need to create that space for creativity, for developing one's personality. I would say an educated person should have the ability to take criticism and should have the ability to give positive feedback, positive criticism. Often we don't find this. At the drop of the hat, we lose our temper. I wouldn't call that a well-educated person. That means you are weak. A weak person loses his temper very often. And you can get to the height of any political or any career in your life, and if you still have no sense of stability in your mind, in your consciousness, I would point that out as defect in education. Scientific education alone is not sufficient to create the much needed human values, because we see today many people who are engaged in terrorism, they are not unpad. They are not those who have not studied, not read, not gone to school as we would have thought a few years ago. They are very well scientifically educated. They are very good in technology. So technology and scientific education alone is not enough to create that humanness in a person. You need something more, something different. An all-encompassing ethos, values, which India has provided for centuries, is needed to nurture that human values. What do you think? Yeah? If this sort of education comes into youth, a baby smiles 400 times a day. A child, according to scientists, a child smiles 400 times a day. But by the time child goes to university, becomes an adolescent, he smiles only 17 times. And once he passes out of the college, he seldom smiles. Do we call this education robbing the joy and smile of a child, which is our birthright, by the time you pass out of the college? Look at the freedom, the sense of belongingness a child has, and by the time youth passes out of the college, how shrunk his personality, full of fear, all sorts of fear. And fear is one thing that need to be looked into. It's a very, very serious thing. We are afraid of everything. We are afraid of our leaders. Just see, in this country, in this part of the country, people are afraid of their leaders. They would go under the carpet to please the leaders. Unfortunate, this is not education. There's something seriously wrong with education. Afraid of leaders, afraid of religion. So many people are afraid of God. God-fearing man I would say, is not a compliment. Is a sign of ignorance. God-fearing man. The fear on religion. If you suppose you have one flower at home and you have 4 pictures, you have so much fear whether this flower, should I keep it on Hanumanji or Shiva or Murugan or Vinayagar. Other, if I keep it on Vinayagar, maybe Muruga will get angry. This sort of thing has gotten into our head. fear about religion, fear about God. We have fear about everything except law. Nobody is afraid of law in this country now. I mean, I shouldn't say nobody, but many are not afraid of law in this country now. This is not education. Education makes you fearless. Education enables you to receive, should enable you to take criticism. See, if someone is criticizing you, you should know he's your dear friend. He's taking the risk of your friendship to point out what is wrong in you, what you can improve. Criticism can happen on two reasons. One is out of real care and concern for you. Second is out of jealousy. So if it is happening out of jealousy, he is just venting out what is in, he or she is venting out what is inside him or her. Otherwise, if they are criticizing you, I would shake hand to them and say, thank you so much. You have taken pains to say what you are doing is wrong. We need such people in almost every field or every area of our country. For that we need that type of guts which I feel education should give. Education should give the gutsiness to take challenges. I was in Pune day before yesterday. We had a big program. After the program, when I was coming, a youth who was in his 30s was driving the car and said, Gurudev, everything went so smooth, unbelievably smooth. We could organize the whole thing, about 10,000 people in a short span of 1 week time. I said, you have become old, my dear. You have joined senior citizen. Because you love things which are so smooth. I said, you didn't enjoy. You should have had a lot of challenges. Challenges, one who is ready to take challenge is indicating he or she is still a youth. But you want everything easy, then you are showing up the signs of old age. Anyway, education will have to pump in so much energy, enthusiasm in us. Can we do this? You might have already have many ideas, and it's nothing wrong to add one more into your list of ideas that you have already made. And please take them all and put that in the ground there and inspire as many youths as possible. Let's make this country proud of our education, our youths. See, once upon a time, India was known for its education. And today, we are nowhere in the first 100 universities of the world. When I was in Pakistan, they were also telling me, in Pakistan, they had this multicultural, multi-religious education some time back. But Yaqub Khan's time, what they did is they completely removed all references of its history. When I was in Pakistan, I told them, look, Ayurveda and yoga was born here in Takshashila. You have disowned it. You have disowned your own heritage. They said, they were so surprised to hear what all was there in that land. What all they could own and cherish. Today, world over, people appreciate yoga. 2 billion people on the planet joined the yoga celebration last year. It's something great, It's something unbelievable. 1/3 of population in the world could appreciate. 35 years ago when I started, yoga was like a little taboo. It's not a normal people who would do yoga meditation. No. Yoga meditation means abroad also people think someone who must be all ashes all over the body and big jatas and standing on one leg. These were the concept of yogis or yoga. Yoga was considered as something that is weird, not the mainstream. Today, mainstream companies, for their advertisement, they use yoga postures. Today, relaxation, happy mind is synonymous to yogic postures and Indian spirituality. So, youths of today, you inherit something which is of tremendous value in today's strife-torn world. Please own it. And you are needed in the world everywhere. About 50 universities in America, they teach Indology. And you know, all those who are teaching about India or Indian philosophy, except one, are all local people. Actually, you must be teaching it. You must be professors there. You must be research scholars there. Because you own it, you know it better. So with these few words, I thank the Indian Express and all of you for coming together with ThinkEdu, this conclave. I think more and more such thinking along with some action would definitely take us forward. And if you have some questions, I am open to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Gurudev. That was such an invigorating session, and just in those few minutes we learned so much more, and we really feel at peace whenever we hear you speak. I think that's the aura that you have around you. Thank you so much. We'll take a few questions before we conclude the session. Can we have a mic passed on to the lovely lady here? Just give us your name and where you're from. We would request you to refrain from comments and just post questions into the mic. Thank you.
Good evening, Swamiji. Myself, Soumya Murthy. As you said rightly, June 21st last year was declared as a World Yoga Day. The entire country, all around 193 nations associated with UN Assembly celebrated the Yoga Day. But India had a lot of aversions towards this Yoga Day, taking up the religious color and connecting yoga not as an exercise or a country's pride, but it was colored as an religious note, and there was a strict opposition to that. And on the other hand, what is your say that introducing yoga as a discipline for the school students or college students to take a practice?
I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary. You know, some people always oppose. Do you know there are 2 lakh people in America who oppose electricity? Do you know this? There are 2 lakh people who do not use electricity. They do not use battery. So like that, there are some people here who would like to live in the 15th century or 100th century BC. Let them be. But progressive people should adopt yoga, whereas as long as it doesn't interfere with anyone's religion, I tell you it doesn't. So we must introduce yoga. It's very good for students. And I think many states have already done it.
Yes, sir. Like how is that religion connected to this yogic, that kind of your idea? How the like they are accommodating like Hinduism is all about yoga. So
see, no doubt yoga is part of Hinduism. For that matter, Ayurveda is also part of Hinduism. Just because Ayurveda is part of Hinduism, does it stop working on someone who is not a Hindu? The sitar instrument is part of Hinduism, then don't listen to any music. You know, Saraswati is the Veena. That means Veena, non-Hindu should not play Veena. This will be disastrous. For that matter, your food. I ask one question to people, those who object like this. I say, you have no objection taking food from any part of the world. If you eat Chinese food, you don't become Chinese. So if someone from North India comes and enjoys masala dosa, they don't convert into Tamilian. Or if a Tamil goes to Calcutta and eat rasgulla and sandesh, he will not forget Tamil. So when we share food, when we share clothes, when we share music, why not share wisdom? This untouchable attitude towards wisdom is causing it's causing very heavy on us. Yeah.
Thank you. The next question, please. The student right behind. Switch on your mic, please.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
My name is Farooq Khan. I am from New College. My question is, without providing free compulsory education and quality education, human values and traditional values and responsibility faculty, any system of education is not useful. For example, today's topic is, should the Indian education system be Indianized? How you see whether politician or we as a student and public should change this?
Well, I guess the topic was of a previous session, and there have been very eminent speakers. They would all have given you great ideas. I would like you to take on their ideas and move on. But one thing I tell you, we are global citizens today. And we need to realize we are global. As far as education is concerned, there are no boundaries. And wherever the values are there, ethics are there, and which you call Indian, I tell you, is universal. And that we need. Yeah?
Thank you. Can we pass the mic on to this lady in the pink sari, please?
You can take that mic, it's all same. Both mics would be. Okay, there's someone is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Can you keep the mic closer, please?
Let me try and repeat your question. Just pose your question.
I wish to know if there is any simple means that will help me inculcate faith in spirituality among the youth.
Faith.
Yeah, faith in spirituality.
Faith itself is spirituality.
Believe in spirituality.
So in this country, there are two paths. One is, first you believe, and sometime in the future you will get an experience. This is not Oriental, this is Occidental. In Oriental, we have always said, first experience, and then your belief will happen to you. Your belief system gets formed. So science also has the same root. That's the reason why Indian philosophy or Oriental philosophy had never been in loggerheads with science. Because the parameters were always the same. Not one scientist was ever persecuted here in this country because both believed in same thing, that is first experience, then believe. So instead of telling them you believe this, better give children direct experience. And one way of getting experience is yoga and meditation. Yeah. 1 minute.
We'll just let the lady pose her question, sir.
Namaste Guruji, I'm Gayatri Harikumar. I have a very small question. Are the youth valuing relationships little lesser compared to people of yesteryear? Is it because we don't have moral education in colleges today?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Are the youth of today valuing relationships little lesser just because compared to people of yesteryear, like compared to older generation people?
I think this is a matter of research. Someone has to really find out what is the reason. Is it the media responsible? Is the environment responsible? You know, there are many factors that could lead to today's issues, problem. Or they are getting right role models. Unfortunately today, pride is associated with sort of dominance and violence. If someone behaves with rage and arrogance and dominance, they are considered heroes. But in India, it was the other way around. When we were young, if someone loses the temper, you would say, oh, what has happened is not balanced. They would be looked down upon. Today, if someone doesn't lose the balance, they are looked down upon. Hey, it's like that. So, these ethos need to have a little shift.
I think we have to bring that into the collegiate education also.
Correct.
Higher education also.
Correct.
Yes.
The pride should be in humility, not in arrogance.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
It sounds very strange, pride in humility. But I tell you, that's a way to infuse that in the youth.
Could we give the gentleman a mic, please? And then you can ask your question. Okay.
नमस्कार गुरुदेव, मैं कल से अटेंड कर रहा हूँ. मैंने एक सवाल किया था जिसका मुझे उत्तर नहीं मिल पाया. जब मुगल आए यहाँ पर तो उन्होंने हमें उर्दू सिखाया, अंग्रेज़ आए तो उन्होंने हमें इंग्लिश सिखा दी. अब हम क्या सीखें?
Would you like me to translate it for the crowd? So he says that he asks Gurudev that when the Mughals came in, they taught us Urdu, and when the British came in, they taught us English. Now what do we have to learn? Now that we're by ourselves.
आप एक बात जान लीजिए, मुगल आए सबको नहीं उर्दू सिखा पाए, और अंग्रेज आए फिर भी बहुत सारे भारत को अंग्रेजी से डुबा नहीं पाए. तो इसलिए हमारा देश का हस्ती ऐसी है, कुछ वो मिटती नहीं है. जो हम अपने आप को सीखें, अपने आप को जाने, और सीखा अनसीखा सब आगे दिखने लग जाएगा हमें.
सर, एक देश का गर्व होता है उसकी भाषा.
सही.
अमेरिका में इंग्लिश है, फ्रांस में फ्रेंच है, रशिया में रशियन बोलते हैं. इंडिया क्या बोलेगा?
इंडिया की जो भाषा है ना, वो प्रेम की भाषा है, अध्यात्म की भाषा है. ये सभी भाषाओं के पार कर देता है. हम कहते हैं हम दिल से दिल जोड़ने वाले हैं, जुबान की क्या बात है.
क्या बात है. So Gurudev says that in India, for the few of you who don't understand it, Gurudev just said that in India we speak the language of love. And when two hearts speak with one another, why do we need our lips and why do we need to speak? We'll have a couple more questions. We'll let the student pose the question first.
Guruji, Vanakkam. I am M. Raja Ganesh. I am an engineering student. And my question is, nowadays almost every students are living their parents' dreams. And when will these parents let their children live their own dreams and passions?
Yeah. I think our one generation or two generation above us, the parents, they went away from spirituality. So they went away from these ethos. You know what our ancient saying is? Prapte shodashe varshe putram mitra vadacharet. When your son or daughter is 16-year-old, behave with them like a friend, not like someone who is an authoritative person. That type of relation, we need to re-establish. Parents need to earn their respect rather than demand their respect. And such an atmosphere parents need to create. So for this, we created a small 2 hours, 2-day program, Know Your Teen program for parents. And we talk about some of these issues and make them understand. And I understand your predicament, yeah.
Yeah, because
I think it is a colonial thing, because someone there, the prince is still waiting to be a king, where mother is still holding there.
Good evening, sir. Guruji, as we see in your speech, a lot of positiveness towards country, education, and as well as in many more places. The same thing, why can't we bring in the politicians this positiveness to bring us, to bring Pride India and as well as quality education. In terms of education, we are lacking many more places. Coming to the economic, the implementation of the funds in universities or else in the rural areas and many more places. So what will be the best option to bring this positiveness among the politicians that we can work for the Pride India, all of it?
I would like to tell you the politicians are not some special class or some special species just came from an alien planet. My dear, they are one among you, one among us. So one of you should take lead in that. If you have that passion for people and service for society, you must come. Unfortunately, in this country or everywhere else in the world, politics has become a profession, not a service. So it has lost its sheen, it has lost its respect, which it got when Kamraj's time, Mahatma Gandhi's time, and just a few generations before us. That need to be set right, and not 1 or 2% can do it, but all of you collectively can do it. The students and youth of this country have the power to bring the change. So you need to bring that. Tell politicians, are you for service or are you making it your business?
Thank you, Gurudev. One last question for this session, and that'll go to the gentleman.
Guruji, we want your blessings. That is the basic thing. Think we are unable to segregate the bio and non-bio. As you explained, the experience I have got for the past 22 years, I am not the cause for the corporation lorry smells or the coastal area has got blocked, because I am making manure from the vegetables. I mean, from the vegetables or the leaves which come from our garden. So how can I make the whole universe to understand this, Guruji?
Communication. Don't give up.
Thank you.
Keep on communicating.
Thank you.
Again and again and again. In the beginning when I said 35 years ago when I started, why I gave this name Art of Living? Because yoga or anything would have just blocked people's mind. We are a world of people with prejudice. The more educated we are, the more prejudice-ridden we have become. So we need to get rid of prejudice. Once that happens, and you have an open mind, you are open to more learning, then you can be progressive and nothing can stop you. So prejudice against organic food, prejudice against other religion, prejudice against various things in this society today, in the world over, that need to be gotten rid of. That's why I would say violence-free society, disease-free body, confusion-free mind, inhibition-free intellect, trauma-free memory, sorrow-free soul is the birthright of every individual. And that which provides this is real spiritual knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Gurudev. One last question, I think. Ma'am's been waiting for a while, so. And with this, we will conclude the session.
Namaste, Guruji. People say to avoid disappointment, do not have any expectations. But we always tell the youth that we need to have hopes, aspirations, and expectations. So how do we tackle this?
You know, in life you need three things. One is passion. Passion alone cannot work, because you have only passion, you will get into depression. Sometime or other, your energy will just drop. So with passion, you need dispassion also. So like breathing in passion, you can't just keep breathing in. Sometimes you have to let go. And that's dispassion. Art of dispassion is art of letting go. Okay, one project did not succeed. Okay, never mind. Take another one. So you keep 10 cards. If one doesn't work, you keep putting the other ones. That can happen when you have dispassion. And the beauty in this country is it has provided the dignity and beauty of dispassion. Adi Shankara said, Kasya sukham na karoti viraga. What is the joy that dispassion will not give you? So, passion, dispassion, that will keep you sane. Third thing is compassion. In between this, you have to be compassionate on yourself and on others also. People with passion often have no compassion on others. And so they fail to achieve their passion many times because they become so hard. With passion you have compassion, you will not be too hard at others. And with dispassion you have compassion, you will not be hard on yourself. So, passion, dispassion, compassion. Thank you.
Superb. And with that, we conclude this session. Shampaji, would you kindly join us on stage and say a few words, render the vote of thanks as we have Gurudev right here with us?